Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan battle video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at Confrontation with Unknown Enemies, Super Saiyan Vegeta Xeno, and how good he is at 55% in the hidden potential system after his Extreme Z Awakening. Now Vegeta is a 150% lead of the Vegeta's family, greatly raises his attack and defense permanently, whilst also greatly lowering the attack of the enemy. Attack and defense of 150%, guards all attacks and launches a guaranteed super attack from one turn from his entry, an additional attack and defense of 150% when there is another Dragon Ball Heroes or Vegeta's family category ally on the team, 50% and 3 key support for the Vegeta's family, and an additional attack of 77% when performing a super attack, and launches an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super attack if there is another Dragon Ball Heroes category ally attacking the same turn when attacking, or an extreme class enemy when attacking. Super Saiyan, Royal Lineage, Prodigies, Patrol, Experienced Fighters, Prepare for Battle, and Sharing the Limit are his link sets, and in terms of categories he's on quite a few: Bond Parent and Child, Crossover, Defenders of Justice, Dragon Ball Heroes, Gifted Warriors, Pure Saiyans, Super Saiyans, Time Travelers, Vegeta's Family, and Worthy Rivals. Now Vegeta, in terms of build, personally, much like Goku, I'd probably just say majority additional, with a little bit of crit or maybe a little bit of evasion depending on how you want to function. I think because there is some kind of additional that is based in the hidden potential, like in the passive, don't think you have to prioritize it fully, but the difference between getting 2 super attacks and 3 super attacks when you have greatly raising attack and defense is quite significant. Vegeta also has greatly lowering attack on his super, which I think nowadays is far more useful than what it used to be, because there's actually quite a few long hard form events where greatly lowering attack is actually something that's very, very important. So yeah, I think overall for me, all things considered, I have to say that yeah, pretty much a really nice looking kit for the unit. Obviously starting with 1 turn guard is also pretty helpful, allows him to not be such a defensive liability, which I think is pretty good, and yeah, I think overall he's really solid. Now at 55%, he does take a little bit longer to stack comparative to a unit that has dupes. That I think should be apparent, but Vegeta can still get up there. Generally speaking, after a turn or two, he's sitting at around the 600-700k mark. And I think overall, he's a really solid unit. Whenever you have units like Vegeta and like the Xeno Goku from the Heroes batch, I think they are very good. Because the thing is, they kind of cover for their category weaknesses. So Vegeta needs a Dragon Ball Heroes or Vegeta's family unit to have his full stat buff. Vegeta needs to be in a turn with a Dragon Ball Heroes unit or facing an extreme enemy to have his full passive. And so he's not as limited as it may seem on the surface. Generally speaking, getting his full passive, or at least the majority of the good portions of his passive, isn't anything that's too difficult. So for me, I find Vegeta to be really good. I also find Goku to be really good. So obviously, to each their own. I think for me overall, one thing I will say is that Vegeta definitely and Goku stack at a good pace, and I think are great support units. For me, I really like how they help their team. 50% support is still pretty good by today's standards, even with crazy stuff like 70% supports and that floating around. And the greatly lowering attack I think is a nice touch. How you build them and use them is just really going to depend on where you see the unit lying in your team. Do you see him as a permanent second slot unit? Then you probably want to go for the additional. Do you see him as a third slot unit? You probably want to go for evasion, because you're not going to be stacking your defense so high. It really depends a lot on those type of things. So yeah, I think for me that's more dependent on you than anything else. But I do really like Vegeta, and I do really like the Goku, so I think they really are worth kind of looking and investing in. But yeah, for me that's pretty much it. Obviously in terms of links, Vegeta's got a pretty decent link set. Super Saiyan prepare for battle. And then you have things like Royal Lineage for Vegeta's family. Prodigy is pretty common amongst Vegeta's units. Patrol is the big one. It's 20% defense. It's very common on a Dragon Ball Heroes team, not so common anywhere else. So it's just going to depend a lot on like how badly you want to activate that link, you know, to really get it going. Like, it's just going to depend a lot on what you want, more than it's going to depend on, like, you know, whether you have, like, yeah, basically it just depends on whether you really want to run him on a Heroes team or not. Overall, I do really like the unit. I really like everything about him. And yeah, I'd have to say that for me, he's really, really solid. So that's basically it for me. All things considered, I like Vegeta, I like Goku. I think they've been really well designed and their easy A's are really good. But let me know what you think. I'd love to hear it. And yeah, that pretty much covers everything from me. So I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.